All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about downstreaming. I'm going to try to go over the basics up front, and I'm going to go into the more advanced in the end. So, a lot of you run your downstreamers, or when you get your downstreamers, the reason why they don't work is because they're backwards. Some builders use male out, some builders use female out. So, depending on where you're getting your supplies from, depends on how they build, will depend on how you receive it. So if you get a complete system, it will have the connectors on it. You have to look at the arrows. If the arrows are facing this way, towards the pump, it's not going to work. That's why you're having a hard time with it. You need to switch your connections around, flip it over, so it goes in line with the arrows following the gun. Next thing, there's all types of downstreams. There's standard, there's high draws, there's even more advanced. There's this one, there's a dual, so there's so many options to fit your needs, just depending on what you're washing. So that's the basics. Now, oh wait, and then on your tips. So a lot of guys say, well, I can't draw anything. Well, that's because your tips are too tight. They're too small. It's not allowing the downstreamer to open up to allow chemical to pass through. So you have to go to a bigger tip, right? So it creates less pressure, more flow, right? Which is soft washing. So it doesn't matter what machine you're using for soft washing. If you use a bigger tip, that's just less pressure, more flow. Welcome to soft washing. So after you figured that out, get your tips in order. You usually will have a J-rod if you order from like Clearwater. Their J-rods are set up for chemical draw and high pressure. Okay, so that's just the standard setup. Okay, now let's go more in advanced. So a lot of guys look at everything at face value, right? Like a lot of you guys look at these and be like, yep, just put my hose on and call it a day. But to learn the business, guys, I really think that you guys should be playing with stuff. Don't always take somebody's word for something. Because you could go and pull the same thread, right, and get a 1/2-inch barb. Now when you open this flow, right, you open with restriction. It's the same as putting bigger wire on a pump, right? So you're feeding these chemical injectors with so much more chemicals, right? That you're not choking it up. This is why, like I say, you need bigger wire on the pumps. Same thing here. Well, people say, well, that doesn't make sense. And I say to them, now hear me out. Your pump has what size on it again? 3/4, 5/8, right? And you got an 1.5-inch barb on it? What are you trying to tell me? It's good for one, but not the other? That makes no sense. So that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. And what I've done, and this is the more advanced parts, what I've done is I've changed these out. I've done tests. The only one, I know I have some videos, I'll have to pull them up. But like on my 8-gallon, right? With a 2.1 GP, with this factory setup, I would get 1 ounce per second. Now, the one that I got from Eric in my group, his would pull 1.28 ounces per second. So this is what I'm saying. You got to test your equipment to understand what it's actually doing for you. Now, am I spending money on this? But the draw is exactly the same. Why am I spending money on this if it's not doing the same as this? You get what I'm saying, guys? So if you take a measuring cup, what I always do is I just take a measuring cup, 4 cups, put the hose in, put my phone on camera, go over to the machine, open it up, let it suck it dry, shut it off, go back through the camera, edit it, count, and figure out what I'm getting. That's how you figure it out. So that's how I'm getting my numbers. But if you're using stuff that's not making you better and you think you are, maybe that's why you're getting pissed off with the equipment also. Because you're taking other people's words and you're not doing your own test. Like I said, this is knowing your business, okay? Understanding the tools you are using and what you get out of the tools, what makes you better or worse, you know? And then your frustration level goes up because you're assuming it should be better. But that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Downstreaming, a lot of you miss it. A lot of you don't use it. And a lot of you waste a lot of money because you don't use it, to be honest with you. But that's just my years of experience talking. I barely pulled my soft wash off. It was only good for roofs and dirty driveways. I mean, unless, you know, you're dealing with some thick lichen but I carry pumpers when I clean out my rig. At the end of the day, I fill up 3 pumpers of what's left in there if I didn't clear it out on the house. I fill up all the pumpers for emergencies, so I'm not pulling my soft wash off every time I need it. You know, just for some stronger mix. That makes no sense to me. So anyway, this is basically what you need to learn about downstreaming. Dwell time will kill you. You have to set a timer, guys. A lot of you guys rush. A lot of runoff. Watch what you guys are doing out here. You know, I just wanted to teach you guys that because I know a lot of people miss this and there's no reason for it. And a lot of you guys spend a lot of money on chlorine. You really don't need to use that much chlorine if you use dwell time as a helping hand on the job, because that's what you're applying is the chemicals to do a job. So let them do the job and then rinse it off. You know what I mean? But you got to do the research on how to properly do everything. I'm just trying to help you guys get a little bit more advanced out here. Or if you are having frustration, maybe I'm helping you figure out the why. Have a great night.